Hello YouTube, I am here with a quick Yuel guide for Granblue Fantasy versus Rising or whatever. I got it messed up. And I'm not going to talk about every single one of her normals, every single one of her optimal combos. I feel like that stuff's everywhere. And I don't think I will teach you much by doing 100, 200 more damage every now and then. I think the most important thing is we kind of establish a game plan. We see our countermeasures, how we open people up, how we abuse kind of our fake pressure, whatever. You'll get to the point. So the main things we're going to want to focus on for Yuel is that she walks very fast, she runs very fast, and she's kind of good at it, doing advancing normals, right? Her 6XL is pretty good. She could dash into her far medium, also very good. And we're going to kind of base our game plan around that. So when we play a character like Yeta, we want to stand outside the ranges of her pokes. Whenever we think we can go in, we go in. We use our media, maybe sometimes we jump. You don't have to jump too often, it's not that good. Sometimes you'll have to stand even further back because the character has so much more threat, like against, I don't know, Beelzebub? How do you even say that? I don't know. This guy's just like spamming specials at me. I don't want to be too close sometimes. But the point here is a lot of our game plan will be around whiff punishing, which I'm not going to do a full guide on. I'm sure you can. But also what we do on block in these situations. Sometimes, yeah, we're going to be standing here and we're just going to go for this and they're going to block it. That's a very common situation. So why is this important? Yuel's far medium is -7 on block. That's pretty good because it actually, if you space it even remotely well, a 6 or 7 frame button will not reach that far, right? They're usually not that, they don't reach that far, right? She'll miss. And so then they'll start doing moves that don't actually punish or are a bit slower, like her medium punch. What can we do here? You cancel into your stance. That's option 1. Now, your stance loses to lows. If people know that, they might start using their sweep. So what's our option 2 is you actually want to delay into her special. I'm just pressing the special button. It's 236 light. If you do it as fast as possible, it's a frame trap. But if we think they're going to mash after our far medium, we actually want to delay it just a bit. And it'll actually frame trap. If you want to really get used to that timing, it's kind of important, or else people can kind of just press after this move. Because there's not a huge amount of threat after this move unless you've established that you can frame trap into this. You cannot just smash it, it won't frame trap it, it'll just leave you at this situation instead. But that situation is not all that bad. So let's talk about step 2 in our guide for pressuring or getting close. We do this, we frame trap them, we're at -3. For some characters, this isn't the best position, but for Yuel, it's actually quite good. She's kind of a character that steals a lot of turns, right? Even though she's -3 here, you can very, very easily condition your opponent not to press fast buttons or just to block in general. One very obvious example is that you could just DP. All right, it's a little YOLO. You probably don't want to do that. Another one that you'll see a lot of people do is this hop. Now, this hop actually leaves you plus as well. Right, we're +2 here. We're right in their face. We can frame trap them. We can go for a strike throw. It's a very good situation. Now, in order to stop this, people might start doing different things. And that's kind of what I want to focus on this guide, because I think Yuel is a character who's kind of like gorilla-like, and that she'll do a lot of untraditional fighting game concepts, like try to steal her turns when she's minus. But the way you go about that is actually pretty interesting. I feel like every time I'm playing different players, I have to try something new. So let's just think of an example here. So when you do this too much, what some people will do is they will just 6XL at you, right? They'll block this, and then they'll 6XL at you. I'll actually make the other character Yuel so we could show example. All right, so we have the Yuel doing this. If we want to stop her, right? She's +2. There's a few ways, right? Right, they'll try to interrupt you very late into it. That's something I see happen a lot. Now, we have counterplay to this, which I'll show you in a sec. But a very common thing I've noticed people is that when they realize I'm jumping back a lot, they go for this. Right, they kind of called me out, you're jumping back, I'm just gonna go 6XL it. And all of these are kind of good because what we're doing is we're baiting our opponent to believing it's not their turn yet. Hey, we're -3, but it's still my turn. And that's kind of big because let's pretend, let's just pretend that Yuel doing crouching U is actually her dash attacking. It's probably a very similar startup. So what we can do is just steal a turn, right? So let's say you have a very hard read that your opponent is going to 6XL you. They're going to do a very long button, right? Some Siegfrieds might press standing heavy punch because they want to catch you on the backdash. There's a few things you could do. First one, as we talked about before, YOLO DP. And this actually makes people have to consider their option. Now, you don't always do it, obviously. In fact, sometimes I never do it for a very long period of time, because I think there's more safe options. So if you have the read that someone's going to try very hard to commit to catching your back roll, they're going to do a very slow heavy normal, or they're going to run at you or something to do 6XL, you can just try to steal your turn. right? Although I was minus, I've conditioned her to have to kind of commit to punishing me. So I get to do a faster move, and even though I was -3, my move is still faster. And as we talked about before, another option, as we talked about with the far thing, is that you can just switch into your stance. This will also make people less hesitant to press buttons. They're gonna have to commit to lows, like their sweep or their kicks. And if you have them committing to that, you can go back to doing this because they're no longer committing to far-ranging moves, right? Like, there's a lot of ways where you steal your turn with UL just because this backflip exists pretty much. And same with her stance. Her stance and her backflip, they're both moves that essentially allow her to make anything that's not literally punishable into a guessing game where she can steal her turn back. And that's something I really want to stress. This is just one situation. Sometimes you'll do it just straight up off this. Sometimes you'll do it off this. You don't even finish it. There's a lot of ways in which you want to do this. And as you can see here, I didn't talk about this yet. Sometimes you do want to stop the backdash into this stance. You want to do that a lot. Why? Because one, it'll just stop you in place, right? Let's say you all did a stand heavy. I won't run into it. I wouldn't run into it with the hop. I would just stop here. If she did a 6XL, I might also counter hit it as well. But one thing you also see people doing a lot is they don't want to play the guessing game. They're just going to jump. So as you can see here, sometimes people will just jump like this. They'll land right on you and they'll get a full combo. So you don't always want to just default to doing this hop because it has a lot of counterplay. Even if you do the medium one, they'll fall and they'll probably, as long as they fall with a move that crosses up, they would hit me there and get a full combo. So what you can do in this situation is you start canceling this into the stance. And now what that does is that when they land, you can press this and you're actually very plus. So let's say she jumped, she landed, and I press this. I'm +1. So now it's my turn. I get to go for frame traps. As we saw earlier, that one's a frame trap. And yeah, so I don't want to go too much into like every single situation I can, but it's going to be a very long video. If you guys want to see that, let me know. I'll make a super long UL guide. But I just really want to talk about a big part of our game plan, which is stealing turns when you do moves that are technically minus. Not technically minus, they're literally minus, but we don't give a shit. So her frame traps, besides like actually faking these out, are this is +4. You could do almost anything you want. This is +2. You could also do a lot. So we'll show some examples. We're gonna make you all do standing light, which is their fastest move. If we're ever, like, let's say you threw someone or you swept them here and you do stand jab at them, you can actually do a heavy punch and that will always counter hit. After you throw someone with UL, you get a safe jump like this, right? This will automatically block any DPs or supers. It won't block counters because you're hitting the counter. But any normal DP or super, you'll actually be able to block in time during that kick. And what you want to do is you true block string it into a stand light, and then you can do a stand heavy for a frame trap. It'll look like this. And then you get any combo you want. Right? You get to do whatever you want after that because you just counter hit your heavy. This is a very, very good frame trap in the corner. It doesn't have to be cornered, but that's where I find myself getting someone to block my stand punch. It's very, very good. Now, another way you can frame trap people is after 6XL, which we're going to be using a lot, as I mentioned. You just do stand kick, or sorry, stand light. And that'll counter hit if they press anything. And as you can see, we're +8, so we can actually get a combo here. We do that. Maybe not the skybound one, but we can do a lot here. And if we're anywhere closer to the wall, you get a full combo here. Look at that. Just because they press the button after our 6XL, we get pretty good combo, pretty good damage. I'm sure there's a better combo out there. So yeah, very, very good frame traps in general. So one thing I just really want to stress is that, especially at the lower ranks, people will be pressing buttons on you a lot. They block your 6XL, they'll jab. They block this, they jab. So you want to make sure that you can do this very late cancel. See, I can't even do it every single time. You want to get that very late cancel. Even though it's not a lot of damage, it's a nice knockdown. You get to run at them and do this, as we talked about, and it all kind of loops into each other. You get a lot of good pressure that leads into each other. And even if you end your pressure in a -3, again, like I said a million times, you get to kind of have an attempt at stealing your turn, which a lot of characters don't get away with doing stuff like this. Another very, very good thing about UL is that she can actually frame trap off an auto combo. Not a lot of characters can do this while staying safe. The way you do it is you just want to do your down special. It's 2-2 light or just down plus special. So let's say we do our whole thing. We just do this and it frame traps into +8 as well. This is actually very good. You get a full combo like we showed earlier. And it's just very good. Not a lot of characters can commit to their entire auto combo and still frame trap you at the end with a safe on block special. Right? This special move is very safe on block. Even if they kept blocking, it's 0. So you can actually steal even more turns. It's not even stealing at that point. You're 0. So that's very good. So keep that in mind. I feel like this is something not a lot of UL players like to do. A lot of people will mash in between your combos. So do these frame traps when possible. This move will also frame trap as well. So if they are mashing, you will not get them. But if people mash DPs, then of course, you know, just block. Let's talk about that safe jump I just talked about. I'm just going to show an example here. After you throw someone, this whole string I just showed you, you can block in time. Another thing you can do is you immediately switch to your stance. You whiff the medium, and then you press crouch medium. And I want to show you what that looks like. You see how I just parried through it because I recovered in time when the DP started. This is a very good setup. You can also cancel the stance to just block it, and if you don't want to parry it. And then you got a full punisher, right? On plus 38. Now the reason this one is so good is because if they don't do the DP, I'm plus 7 after this hit, okay? You know how much plus 7 is in this game? It's a lot. This crouching medium while you're in stance is so active that you can make it plus 7 on wake up. Auto timed, it's usually plus 2, which is good. Plus 7 is obviously better. So whenever you do get it, you usually want to immediately cancel and then press close medium or close heavy. And that'll look something like this. Right, if they press the button there, I can frame trap them. If not, I can start my pressure. And as we talked about, I can cancel into this. I can cancel into this, start stealing some turns and whatnot. I could do a lot. So the other thing I want to talk about with UL is you want to really get used to people jumping. A lot of times you'll press this and someone will jump in the corner very late because they want to see what you're doing. She gets very big damage off her anti-air combos. Again, I don't want to go too much into the combos. I'm sure they're out there. Again, I can make a very long UL video if you want. She gets a lot of some of these. She gets a lot of reward off calling your opponent's defensive habits, even when she's the one at minus frames, which is her big strength. So I think what you want to master with UL is, again, this kind of pressure, turn taking, frame trapping. You get a lot of reward for calling out your opponent's defensive habits, even when they think it's their turn. So I'm going to start trying to stream this game. I'm having a blast playing UL. She's actually super fun. Try to hit master with her. I just kind of started really grinding this week. We're at S+ right now, on the way up. If you liked what you saw, you want to learn more about UL, you want a very long, comprehensive guide, maybe I could do that. Or you could just head over to my Twitch channel, which I should hopefully start streaming soon. You can ask any question about Granblue in general or fighting games or UL, and I'll be sure to help over there live. It might be easier, or I'll just make a 15-minute guide for whatever reason. But I just really wanted to talk about her frame trapping game, her rushdown game, because it is very fun. It feels very satisfying when you catch someone out, you know. I do this move, they jump at me, and it's just, the endorphins start running. And sometimes you just do this and you get free plus frames forever and you just keep looping them over and over. Then you do this and then this frame traps. It's so fun. Anyway. I don't want to get ahead of myself. If you like what you saw, leave a like, comment. I would appreciate a subscription. I'll see you guys next time for some more Granblue Fantasy Versus or Street Fighter or something.